If you haven't heard about this series before, then you're probably way too young to be watching this video. One of the most infamous adaptations of an Otome game is Diabolik Lovers, and it's not that hard to see why it received so much hatred when it first debuted in 2013. But I'm not here to bash the series. I'm here to explain the backlash that surrounded it in the West, and a question Otome game lovers always find themselves asking. Why do these adaptations always seem to suck ass? Diabolik Lovers debuted in fall 2013 when another infamous vampire anime first came out. Because no one in the West had really heard about the show, people like the 13-year-old Brianna clicked it out of nothing but curiosity. The story is about 17-year-old Yui Komori, but you would never know her real name because everyone ever calls her After her father moves abroad for church work, he leaves her in Japan to stay with a family friend. It turns out that her father actually sent her to the Sakamaki household as a sacrifice to 6 sadistic brothers, Ayato, Kanato, Raito, Reiji, Subaru, and Shu. Each episode of the anime follows the basic plot structure of Yui worrying about one of them, then becoming enticed to suck her blood, and then proceeding to do so in an extremely obvious and sexual way. And this brings us to our most what the fuck question: why? Before it was an anime, Diabolik Lovers was a dummy-head drama CD series by Japanese company Reject. The intent of the series was to target a niche demographic of masochistic girls, with their first release, Diabolik Lovers, Do-S Vampire, Volume 1, Ayato Sakamaki. After the series exploded in popularity in Japan, Reject decided to make it into an Otome game a year later. The first release in the series was a PSP Otome game called Diabolik Lovers, Haunted Dark Bridal. And they couldn't leave any more money off the table, of course, so they decided to make it into an anime 1 year later. Crunchyroll translated it for the US, and that's when the West got a taste of just how thirsty the masochistic girl demographic was. It's no surprise how the West reacted to it being review bombed and even scoring multiple ones on my anime list. However, there are some plausible reasons why the anime is so horrible, and as someone who has actually played it, I can argue why the game is actually better than the anime. One of the systems the video game Diabolik Lovers is known for is the S&M system. After you select the Sakamaki brother you wish to court, you get a status menu that displays 3 things: the blood-sucking meter, your masochistic meter, and your sadistic meter. This means that unlike in the anime where she doesn't have a backbone or much of a choice, you can actually make Yui talk back to them. You'll still end up getting your blood sucked, of course, but I was pleasantly surprised at how bold she was in the actual game. Not to mention, by taking away the context of the game, the Diabolik Lovers anime is an absolute mess. Believe it or not, but there's an actual plot in the game. And are the love interests still assholes? Of course! But they're not nearly as mean to her as I thought they would be. And honestly, in some weird twisted sense, there's actually romance. Take the infamous scene of Ayato chucking Yui into a pool even though she can't swim, for example. After he has a flashback of his mom doing the exact same thing to him, he saves her, she thanks him, and he sucks her blood. But in the game, this happens after they have some kind of affection for each other. She doesn't thank him for saving her, and rightfully so, and he kisses her instead of sucks her blood. The stark difference between the scene in the game and the scene in the anime is their relationship. In the beginning of the game, Yui knows that her blood is valuable to them, so she makes an ultimatum. She tells them that she has the right to pick who gets to suck her blood. But in the anime, she doesn't say this at all. It's basically just a free-for-all. Going back to the Ayato scene, although they barely know each other in the anime, they've already established some kind of twisted romantic relationship in the game. Does this make him throwing her in the water any better? No, but the timeline in the game makes it more understandable. Diabolik Lovers is a character-focused game. When you select a character, the route is split into 3 sections: Dark, Maniac, and Ecstasy. Dark is a large chunk of the game where Yui is tormented by the vampire of your choice. Maniac is after she begins to enjoy the pain, and Ecstasy would be the place in a normal Ultimate game where they fall in love. The scene where Ayato throws her into the pool is during a scenario in the Maniac section, but in the anime, it acts as if it's still in the Dark section. In the game, Yui is able to slowly become accustomed to their twisted personalities, and she also finds herself drawn to them, even though this is basically domestic violence the game. The story is different depending on the route as well. Even though the anime takes Ayato's route and adapts it in the last couple of episodes, it's an important plot point that Yui has the heart of their mother, Cordelia. This is the reason why Yui's blood is so irresistible to them. And if you're wondering why her children know what her blood tastes like, don't ask too many questions.
That's how I had to watch incest porn. The
main point is that all the anime was made to promote was the blood-sucking scenes. In both the drama CD and the game, these scenes are recorded with dummy head microphones. This is the main attraction to Diabolik Lovers. Dummy head microphones are used to record binaural audio. Whenever someone is wearing headphones or earphones and listens to something recorded with one, then it will sound as if the person is whispering in your ear or even right there with you. I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, but if you don't, then just have a listen.
鏡の中の自分を見ていればいいんですよ。僕の腕の中で。普段君がどれだけ淫らな顔をしているのかを知る。いい機会です。
Diabolik Lovers is the only Otome game production that utilizes dummy head microphone recording, so even if you aren't masochistic, you can at least see the appeal of why people play it. You know, as long as you ignore them calling her names every 5 seconds. All in all, people who have already played the Otome game will only watch to see their favorite vampire ikemen animated, no matter if the story is botched or not. This holds true for fans of Otome game to anime adaptations of series such as Code Realize, Brothers Conflict, and even Hakuoki. And since Diabolik Lovers is such a character-driven game, it would honestly be difficult to make it into a proper anime with a coherent story. I'm not gonna get too much into detail, but the big plot twist of Yui having Cordelia's heart only matters in Ayato, Kanato, and Laito's route. The other 6 have completely different problems that couldn't fit into a 15-minute episode. And don't get me started on the Mukami brothers. That's a whole nother video. The moral of the story, if you don't like the series, then no, it wasn't made for you. You're free to watch it if you want, of course, if you want to bleach your eyes out like I did. It was made for the niche demographic of masochistic girls that didn't turn out to be so niche after all. The characters also show signs of mental illness throughout their routes, which I found to be quite interesting, but that still didn't make me like any of them. Except Shu, of course. Shu is love, Shu is life. All jokes aside, pushing someone around because you were traumatized is not the way to go, no matter how much of a hoe your mother was. Will Diabolik Lovers be an example to other Otome games that will undoubtedly get more anime adaptations? Well, we'll just have to see. All fans care about are seeing their favorite characters animated, but personally, I'll just fan over the 2D versions of them for now. Hello everyone! I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. This is the first time I've ever made a video like this, so I'm hoping it isn't awful and you enjoyed it. I also wanted to say that I made a Patreon because everybody and their mother seems to have one, so you know, if you ever feel inclined, I would be very grateful. And you know, don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that stuff that YouTubers always say because they're inclined to. And I will see you next time. Bye bye!